Flight Sim Expo 2019. I am very excited to finally be in the room with a member of Turbulent Designs. I've been trying to get you guys to come down to one of these events for years. You guys are over in the UK, down in the Southampton area, which is pretty cool. And a lot of developers seem to be around here. You've got Russ White down there. I think John lives down there. John Benema.
Seem to congregate around that area.
Yeah. I've got to come down to Southampton. I've got to come down. That's actually one of my favorite Orbix airports too. From I think it was 29 Palms guys.
Yeah.
But I really want to, and the main reason why I wanted to get you here is because I think for Turbulent Designs, you guys have a really interesting story to tell.
Yeah.
You really do. Now, when you because I believe the founding partners is you and Russ Lynn. I think it was just the two of you in the beginning, or was there's just the two of you, right? So we'll get into kind of what happened before Turbulent. But I remember when you guys first kind of came onto my radar, you guys had mentioned that, you were just starting out, and I wasn't sure where the background was, but I knew that under some facet you were a part of Orbix prior, and you guys were going out on your own. And around that time, we saw quite a few developers kind of branching out and doing their thing. Bill Womack, which was part of Orbix, he kind of branched off on his own. Same thing with Russ Wright as well. So it's funny because you all are kind of back under the dome again.
Yeah.
So a lot of things have changed, clearly.
That's right.
But I remember in those probably that first like year and a half or so. So this was the Blue Canyon Nyack package. So we got a package of 3 airports, and I remember doing the interview with both you and Russ during the live stream of that. And I love that package, by the way. You guys picked some amazing airports.
That's a good one.
But what wound up happening, so you branched out on your own, you were working on it, and then you wound up coming back to Orbix, just to bring us into kind of what happened there and what kind of led you back into Orbix.
We were. Do you want to, we can start from the start.
Yeah.
start
the glasses have to come off.
There we go. So my history basically in development was I started with Orbix in must have been about 2009.
Yeah.
We did Moorabbin with Ken Hall.
Yeah.
Because Moorabbin was my local airport, and I knew Ken was working on it, and I said, can I help out and take some photos and that kind of thing? So I ended up he taught me some modelling. And so that was my start with Orbix. That was my first sort of commercial package with them.
Yep.
And we did Hobbyfield.
Yep.
Longview Ranch.
I love Longview Ranch. Yeah, I love that airport.
That's one of my favorites. And then we started with the other company.
The other company. Are we not saying the name? That's not. We won't say the name. Okay, so then you probably, because Russ Lynn, I think, was also doing projects directly from Orbix before becoming part of this other company as well, right? I don't remember.
No, he started with that company.
He started with that company.
He started with that company.
Okay.
Yeah. So Russ's background is a gaming background.
Yep.
For various companies.
You'd never tell by Russ's Facebook page. He loves his games. Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So he came from a gaming background, and then we came together, and we shared an ideology that we wanted to do things to our standards, our own standard, and the company that we worked for just didn't allow for that.
Okay.
They wanted it quick.
Yeah.
And they couldn't understand that quick doesn't equal good necessarily. So that all folded. That went south quite badly. Then so Russ and I were effectively out of work, along with James Crowler.
Yeah.
And
another talent there, James.
Yeah. He's got a real job now.
Yeah. Is he not developing anymore?
No. He's.
Because the last one he developed was Northern California, I think, right? Did he do an airport for you guys?
He did. He did Angwin.
Angwin. Yeah, there we go. That's the one. Yeah.
That was his last project for us, I think.
Oh, we miss you, man. That was a good airport. Yeah.
So the three of us decided to just do some stuff on our own because we didn't have any jobs, didn't have a job at that time, and that's how we started Turbulent. So then I think James then went off and got a real job doing modelling for someone else, and so Russ and I plugged on with Turbulent. Eventually got an office. Trevor came along as appointed him the CEO of the company, and he sort of branched out Turbulent into different fields, into marine stuff and some more commercial fields. And so that's kind of been one half of the business, that commercial aspect's been one half of the business. And in the meantime, Russ and I have continued with the airport development, and that then James came back to us.
Yeah.
And then James left again. And then Russ White came along. Russ was just down the road.
Right.
Was just down the road.
And what a coup that was, huh?
Yeah. He was doing MBS at the time, and we said, why don't you do MBS through us? So he came to us, and we kind of finished that all together as a team, but that's 95% Russ White.
Yeah. Who's, by the way, one of the most talented developers.
He is
just amazing. I mean, you're amazing. You're amazing, but he's also amazing.
He's the wizard. We just call him the wizard.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind.
Yeah.
And we've now expanded the team out to, I think as of last week, we're six now. 6 airport developers.
Are you all working out of your offices, or so everyone comes to work every day? Because I think that was one of the interesting things for flight simulation enthusiasts is I think we've all kind of gotten used to the notion that developers all work from home pretty much, and I thought that we have development teams that all get up every day and go to an office and do work and put in that time that way. So that's actually it's a different perspective.
Traditionally, it's been very much a work from home industry. Doing it in my spare time. I've got a real job. And that's how everyone starts. I mean, you can't do this as a full-time career straight out of high school. It doesn't work like that.
Exactly.
But when we started Turbulent, we thought, well, we're doing it 9 to 5, so everyone else is going to be doing it 9 to 5 as well, essentially.
Right.
And that's just how that's morphed. So we have full-time staff. The Turbulent altogether, we have at the moment full-time staff of 12. 6 of them airport developers.
Yep.
And we'll be sort of progressively expanding that team. As we go.
So you're getting bigger.
Yeah. So we've recently taken on the task of running the Orbix UK development team. UK development centre.
Okay.
And then we'll be moving into that office next week.
Again, that's interesting because you are wearing an Orbix shirt here at the event. So you're technically Orbix and Turbulent. Or how do you explain the relationship?
Essentially, Turbulent Designs is essentially contracted to Orbix to run that development setup.
Okay.
So we're still following Orbix's philosophy and ideology of quality and content, and at the same time applying our own sort of flair to that. But it allows us to kind of formalise the development process a bit more. We have a formal development program.
Yep.
So we a project manager basically. We have a fixed time that we want to finish the thing by, but it's a realistic deadline.
Exactly. You don't show a preview and then we wait 5 years and then we see another preview, right?
No one else in the team will tell you that it's a realistic deadline, but it is.
Yeah.
I promise. We just want to try and keep that a bit more formalised and working in PBR now, with full PBR workflow.
Yeah.
And that's allowed us to take on people with a different skill set to what we traditionally had.
Right.
So a lot of young guys from outside the flight simulation field.
Yeah. And here's the thing with Turbulent, and this was always clear for me from the very beginning, even going back to Blue King and Nyack, Friday Harbor, which is unfortunately what's always plagued Friday Harbor, which you and I were talking about,
what you're going to show
was just the hole that's in Flight
hole.
Simulator, and there's just not really much you can do about that.
Hole.
It's just a weird area. You fly into it, and it doesn't matter how powerful your computer is, things just start to kind of slow down, and there was nothing you guys really could do about that. But that being said, what you guys really focus on is quality and detail. And it's easy to see, and I've always said this for many years, you can tell the difference between a developer that's here for money or trying to make a living and a developer who subsequently or as a byproduct is earning a living, but is there because they're passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
And, you know, whenever, for example, Russ Lynn, because he'll put on his personal Facebook, you know, previews of what he's working on that may not be for you know, the wider audience. And when it came down to Glacier Peak, or Glacier Park, and Freedman Valley, you know, the parking lots. Because the first thing he does, he'll tag my name. And he'll say, you know, like DeAndre, parking lot's good enough, you know, and I'll look at the parking lot. Your parking lots are fantastic, by the way. Everyone knows I love my parking lots.
He does,
but
yeah.
Everything down to like the grains of wood, you know, under the canopies. I mean, you guys, and so Freedman is probably, I'm not sure where it ranks on my top 10 of like favorite airports, but there are so many elements of that airport that was just done right. And I remember when I saw the initial previews, it was before I started my new website, so I really wasn't following news. But I'm like, oh great, it's, you know, they finally reached release. But once I got my hands on it, I realized it's so much more than when it looks like when you're looking at it, you know, on a preview screen or something.
It's quite unique in it.
Yeah, so you've got, first of all, you've picked a location, you've got lots of hills nearby. It is not an easy airport to fly into because of its elevation. There's always low-hanging clouds, and I always find that it's clear. I'm on like the 5 mile final. There's a cloud. You know, and if I'm thinking, okay, if I'm lucky, I'm going to burst with that cloud right before, got to go around. And then once you're on that funnel, you can see the curve in the runway. And then once you're down on the runway, it's depending on which direction you're flying in, you're either going up or you're going down. There's bumps. You pull off on the taxiway, and you can feel the aircraft kind of going up and down over these taxiways. And so you guys did quite a bit went into that.
Yeah, there was a lot of, let's say, there was a lot of swearing.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
We had quite a bit of trouble with the technology of that, because the getting the sloping runway in P3D. We had issues with version 4. We started with version 4. There were some problems that we thought we actually just can't fix. Unfortunately, Russ pulled one out of the bag and made it all work.
Russ Lynn or
Russ Lynn?
Russ Lynn. Because you got the two Russes.
Russ.
You guys ever get confused? You have three. You ever get confused? Does anyone just say Russ and then half the office just stands up?
We've got Smart Russ on the other one, so you can use please yourself which is which. Depends who you want to. Whoever you want the favour from is Smart Russ.
Yeah.
No, he did a fantastic job on the ground poly, that whole model.
Right.
Because that was a particularly tricky package to do.
And you could have just simply opted to say, you know what, just have a flat runway and let's just be done with it.
It's funny, when we started that one, it was like, why don't we do, actually it was my idea to do that airport. I said, it's really cool because it's got this bit at the bottom, you know, where the hangars are at the bottom of the runway, they're flat, and then it kind of goes around. We could just do that and run that up, and that seems so easy.
Yeah.
It seems so easy, and it was months of just...
and I appreciate the open hangar, by the way.
Thank you.
So what I wound up doing was I took that WAM, I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, that's a Russ White open hangar, that one.
And I just filled all my favorite planes in there. So now when I go and land, you know, I can hop out of my one plane, go into the hangar, hop in another one, take off and fly. So, but yeah, it's a really terrific airport. So I'm sure you guys are busy. Probably have a few products in development. I don't know if you want to talk about what's coming up or.
We're working. I mean, primarily what we're doing at the moment is, as I say, we're running the Orbix Development Center.
Yeah.
So it's our focus is really on that.
What is the Orbix Development Center?
Basically, the idea is that a bunch of people will come together to form a. I can't think what the right word is, but yeah.
Collaborate.
It's going to collaborate on different projects.
Yeah.
So again, we'll have that formal release schedule, and just help things kind of be a bit more formalised. But at the same time, having everyone in the same room, it's amazing how quickly those problems can be solved. Or you come up with new ideas. It's just the most important thing. The new ideas, new solutions to the problem. And we've got guys from non-flight sim backgrounds who sort of questioning how you've always done things. All the things we've always said, you just can't do it like that because you just can't.
Yeah.
So, they kind of say, well, you must be able to, surely. And then, sure enough, they'll find a solution.
Wow.
So that introduces some really nice innovation.
That's really interesting. And is that really more of an effort to get people more into flight simulation development that might have the tools from another background? Or?
It's from our point of view, it's about finding people who are good at modeling, good at texturing. And with PBR now, because I want to say it's a less of an artistic process, but it's more of a scientific solution, to a mathematical solution. PBR, it's very specific. It's either metal or it's not metal, for example, or somewhere in between. Whereas traditionally it's always been, I'm going to paint a texture, and if I'm a really good artist, I can make it look like metal. Well, now PBR requires a different approach, different methodology,
whole another mindset,
and that's what's being taught in a lot of the university courses these days.
Right.
So guys and girls coming out of university, all prepared for that kind of thing.
Wow.
Whereas previously we had to train someone on this is how you draw a building that looks like a building, and now you make a model and put it on there. So
people in the UK that may have the skills or are developing these skills, how can they find out more about it and probably become a part of it?
You can send me an email.
Yeah.
We're always looking for people.
What's your email?
My email is greg@turbulentfs.co.uk.
Okay. Turbulent. Oh wow, that was a lot of words.
Turbulent. I'll try again. greg@turbulentfs.co.uk.
Okay.
Or get in touch with Orbix.
Yeah.
I'll find its way through to me.
And then lastly, prior to the demise of Flight Sim World, I know you guys are doing a lot of projects for them.
Yeah.
Any of those projects that you might see going into the P3D realm or anything, or are those all been just pretty much drops?
We ended up actually being pretty good for us, because that was our introduction to a PBR workflow.
Yeah.
And they actually had the PBR in FSW working pretty well.
Yeah.
So that was good for us, because it helped us understand how that could be applied to Flight Sim.
Yeah.
What it also meant is that we had a bunch of stuff that never got used. So we've been able to apply some of those things to new projects. And we've got some stuff that's kind of shelved at the moment, which might see the light of day.
Yeah. One day. Well, listen, just to you and the team, they're at their offices whenever they see that, I just want you guys to know, you guys are doing an amazing job. Everything you guys come out with is absolutely impressive. I can only imagine with some of the other commercial projects that you guys work on, but the bottom line is you guys are very thorough. You're very thorough. And you've never given me anything, like usually I have to there are developers where it's easy to find something wrong with the product, and then there are developers where they make it hard, and I really have to try to find something, so I don't, DeAndre, you're being biased. It's like I can't, everything is just done so perfectly. Yeah. And that's the case with you guys. And so, the marriage back with Orbix
that's
again.
That's what we aim for.
Yeah, and it's just great. I mean, you guys are back with Orbix again, and you're all working together, and that's what I think is the best part about how we're seeing our community evolve.
The relationship with Orbix, it works really well, because we have the same mindset. It's like it's got to be right, or it doesn't go out.
Exactly.
As simple as that. If you know there's a problem with it, don't release it.
Exactly, and you've heard it from the man himself. Greg, thanks so much. It's been very enlightening. I'm so glad that you came over to the States. Yeah, hopefully next year now you can convince the rest of the guys to come over, so they know what they're missing.
We'll be here next year.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.